because I was looking for some beads for a project that we're doing on the Shattered Circle side. So I did find a couple things I could not leave without. This is one of them. Oh my gosh, y'all, look at this. So everybody is always trying to get me to do gnomes, and I always do a gnome for Valentine's Day. So this is going to be my obligatory Valentine's gnome for 2023. So we're gonna paint this cutie up. We are going to put these beads on our heart. These are so pretty. You're probably not gonna get the gist of it here on video, but they're called red rainbow, but they're not really red. They're kind of a pinky red magenta with gold. They're so pretty. So we're going to paint our cute little gnome. Then we're going to pour the resin, and then while the resin's wet, I'm gonna pour beads. Normally I glue them down and then pour resin. We're just gonna throw caution to the wind tonight. We are going to paint it, put the resin on, and then we're gonna throw those beads right on there and pile them up as high as we can. So what I'm gonna do first, guys, is I am going to take the string off, okay? I don't wanna get paint on it because I can be a messy painter. So the first thing I'm gonna do is take the string off, and then we'll add it back once the piece is dry. So, it's gonna be so cute. Y'all didn't think you were gonna get 3 Valentines without me doing a gnome, did you? Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I have a bunch of colors here, and I think I'm gonna just start at the top and work my way down. I am gonna paint his hat. I think I'm gonna do red. I'm gonna paint his hat and his sleeves in cherry red. So let's just go ahead and get that done. You pull it down a little. I'll pull it down so that we can always see whatever it is I'm painting. Super excited about those beads. So let's get a paintbrush. This is just a 1/2 inch flat. Just any old big, a little bit bigger brush, so because we're doing a big section, it'll go by faster. Spent $10. Oh, go Amber. That's awesome. All right, so let's just go ahead and just get the red on. And if you wanted to, if you're gonna hang this outside, you could just paint this black, the back of it, or you could just spray seal it with a clear sealer so it doesn't get all mucked up in the outside, hanging on your door or something. So, now notice what I'm doing is working from the center out with my paint so that I'm not getting a lot of excess paint on the edge of the wood, because this is cut on a laser, so it's got a nice brown edge. So I'm trying to not get paint on that edge. So I'm trying to work towards the edge and not from the edge towards the center. And that will help eliminate getting paint on the edges of your Gnome. So let's just get some red on. Right here, honey, right here. Hobby Lobby. So, again, this is cherry red. It's one of my favorite reds. Let's get right up next to his little, the top of his little hat. I love these cute little pieces that are etched. I think Miss Lee makes a lot of this stuff. Let me flip it a little. Hey, Melinda. All right, I'm gonna turn it this way again and just go right around that edge. It's easier for me to do it this way. Right up next to that little etched line. Yes. When I saw this today, I thought, oh, yep, I know what I'm painting. I was gonna do a heart using some of Miss Rima's foils, but we'll get that done as well. Couldn't resist this thing. So here we go. I'm gonna just come back and just add another quick little coat. Because it's raw wood, it did soak in pretty quickly. So let's just go ahead and make it nice and opaque. Make sure it's got a nice coat of color on it. All right, so cute. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and do his sleeves as well. So we'll just get that paint right up to that etched edge. And come around his hand. His little gnome hand. I don't know if brought up something for his hands. I guess we'll figure it out. So let me do his other sleeve. Look what I did. I touched it, and then I touched it on his beard. I cannot be trusted. Cannot be trusted not to make a mess. Okay. I think I'll paint his hands black. He's got gloves on, they're not his hands. I think it's this big brush giving me problems with this tiny little area. I need kind of a smaller brush, but we're gonna make it work. There we go. There we go. So we got his hat and his sleeves. So I'm gonna just put this aside. And really quick, I am going to go ahead and paint his nose because it's a lighter color. And I don't want to have all that dirty water and then try to paint the lighter color. So let's get, this is just a peachy skin tone color. This is called, no name. Oh, peach. Craft Smart. I think that's a Michael's color, so we're just going to get a little bit of that skin tone color. I'm going to get a little bit of a smaller brush and get something that's about 1/4 inch. It's a 1/4 inch angle. Thank you, Sue. To paint his cute little nose with. So I'm just going to put this peach color right within that etching. And then we'll jazz it up a little. It's raining here. It started raining a little bit ago. And it was raining so hard you could just hear it pounding on the roof of my studio. I didn't even know it was supposed to rain. It's warm though. I actually have shorts on. So at least it's warm. I can take the rain if it's warm. All right, while that's starting to dry up a little, I'm gonna set my brush down and I'm going to add just a tiny, hey Cratch. I am gonna add resin and beads. These cute beads right here. Woo. This gnome is in the seasonal section where you know, they change that out for every season. So it's in the very front of the store. So if you're looking online, you're probably gonna either have to search for, let me look at the tag again. You're gonna probably have to look in the seasonal or do a search for gnome. And it says Valentine's Crafts Gnome, 14 by 8, right there. So look for that. Okay, so I'm gonna just hit his little cute nose one more time. And then while it's still wet, I'm gonna grab up a little bit of that white. Let me offload. I'm gonna get a little bit of that white just on the corner of my brush. See, I've just got a smidge right there. And about midway to the top, I'm gonna just bring that color around about, I don't know, a third of the way around to highlight his cute little nose. And then I'm gonna do the same thing with the red. I'm just gonna dip that teeny bit of a corner into the red. Yes, Veronica. I'm gonna blend that in. And I'm gonna come over to this side. I'm just gonna do a tiny bit of a red. Ugh, my paint wasn't dry. My paint was dry. Tiny bit of red on this side because it's cold outside and he's got a little bit of a cold nose. I keep sticking my finger in that wet red paint. So this gives him a little bit of a three-dimensional effect already, so his nose really stands out. All right? Right? Yeah, $1.79, really super, super, super cheap. All right, so the next thing I'm gonna paint, I think, is I'm gonna go ahead and just put some of that white on the brim of his hat. So I'm just, while I have that white out here, I'm just gonna go ahead and just add that white right here. Almost looks like a Santa gnome, but we're gonna fix that in just a minute. By the time we get done with him. So I'm gonna just go right up to that edge line. Woo. It's soaking up the paint, this wood is. I'm gonna turn him this way, go around his nose. I got a little too much paint on my brush. I have to hold my breath. Hold my breath so I don't mess up, because I have a tendency to do just that. Get myself out of line easily. All right, almost done. I can't wait to see what these beads look like. They're so pretty. Right, I'm gonna rinse this. I'd love that too, Rebecca. Water pop before you paint or stain, that's a good idea. Yeah, I don't normally get that far advanced with myself. I think I have some gray. That's what I'm gonna use on his beard area down here. I'm gonna assume his beard is here, down all the way to his feet like normal. So I'm gonna take a little bit of that gray on my brush that's damp. I'm gonna dip my corner in and just kind of brush it through. And I'm gonna come around the top of his brim and just add a little bit of shading. Do it again, a little bit of gray, pull it through my brush. And it's kind of like a shadow where his brim and his hat are, where they meet. Just a little something to help again with dimension. And let's see, may just bring a little bit of it down as well. All right, super cute. All right, so now what we're gonna do is, this is not a Santa, and I'm gonna write this here because I don't guess it's very obvious that this is where the gnome came from. So I'm gonna write gnome here, because that's where the gnome came from. Now we're gonna use this gray. I'm just gonna use the same, I'm just throwing things around. I'm gonna use the same brush, and we'll add gray to his beard area. Go around his nose. It's really soaking up, so I'm gonna just go all the way around with one coat, and then I'm gonna come back and add a second mixed with a little bit of white to give his beard some dimension as well. Just drinking the paints. Drinking it. Super cute. Yeah, when I saw this little Mr. Gnome at the Hobby Lobby and saw the price, I thought, oh heavens, that is a no-brainer right there. You gotta do it. So if you go and get yourself a gnome from Hobby Lobby and paint it and make it pretty, I would love for you to post a picture of it and show us what you did. We love to see those. Trying not to trying to paint in the lines. I didn't do very well as a kid, and it's no different as an adult. Thank you, Karen. The gray is called Slate Gray. Now hold my mouth right, so I don't get outside the line. Can't wait. We're gonna get all the little other parts done because we're gonna fancy up this heart a little bit. And we're gonna add beads to it. Okay, so this is all done, but what I wanna do is come back and add another really quick coat. And while it's still wet, I'm gonna dip into my white and just add, oops, I need more. Quickly, Cindy. We'll add a little bit of white. Just dab it into your brush and pull through to give his beard dimension. So let's go into the gray. Dip in the white and just all right, so not terribly fancy, but good enough. So we're gonna come down here and we're gonna do the bottom as well. We may draw in some lines with our little marker. Let me get some more gray on my plates. Again, this is slate gray. Oh, I need to put that in the water. Around our hearts. Again, I'm still working from the middle to the edge so I don't get the paint beaded up on the edge, because the edge is already nice and finished. So I don't want to mess it up. So make it a little more. we'll get some whites, just dip it in and kind of smash it into your brush. And just make yourself a few little strokes. Super cute. All right, let's do this side. Try not to touch things that are still wet. Careful. We got a little red on his beard there, so it covered up really nicely. Thank you, Mary. So let's get all the way down to the shoesies. Come back a little bit more wet gray. We'll wipe it off, and then we'll get a little white, pounce it in, and make ourselves put some gray and some white in his beard. He's an old gnome. All right, that's good. All right, so the next thing I'm gonna do real quick, go Anne, how awesome is that? Except, Lord, I don't even wanna look at myself that big. So I'm gonna paint his hands and his feet black, his shoes and his gloves. Put a little black. Where's my brush? I'm gonna use that same brush, so let's rinse that off. So let's do his gloves. Does look very Santa Claus-ish right now, but we are going to change that once we get down to the details. So try not to get my hands in wet paints. I'm gonna have to turn it the other way. It's too wet. Gonna make a mess. So our heart, we're gonna do in pinks and reds and whites. And we're gonna add beads to it after we resin. We're gonna go backwards than what I would normally do, but I just thought we don't really have time for the glue to dry. And we'll probably have to micromanage those beads a little bit, but that'll be okay too. It'll all work out fine. It's fine, I'm fine, everything's fine. All right, now while that's wet still, I'm gonna grab a little bit of that gray just on the corner, brush it in, and I'm gonna come right on his fingertips, a little more gray, and add some of that gray, maybe a little white too, to give his hand a little three-dimensional look as well. Thank you, Deborah. Very nice of you to say. Practice, practice, practice is all it takes. Ooh, almost went in the gray. Right up to that edge. Ooh. Like this, we didn't have to trace anything. It was already imprinted, so it was super easy. Right up to the edge. And now we're going to do the same thing on this side with the gray. I'm going to dip into the gray and just go back and forth on my plate for a sec. A little bit of white too. And we're going to come around the glove where his fingertips are. And just give that a little dimension. A little bit more. That was excessive, but we can smear it in a little. Just blend. There we go. Cute. Cute. Now let's do his feet, and then we can get the party started on that heart. So let's get his feet. He's got some cute little gnome shoes. Get the easy part, and then I'll do the hard, which is snugging up next to this thing. We're going to do the same thing. Just offload a little of that, get a little bit of the gray. We'll go back and forth. And I think on his toesies, we'll just add a little pop of that gray. We'll do the other side. That's the easy part. Now let's get right up on his beard. All right. We'll get a little gray, a little white. Go back and forth on our palette. Oops. And we'll do the toesies again. Cute, cute, cute. Okay, so before we do anything else, I just realized that his hat and sleeves have no fanciness to them. All right, so I am gonna take my brush, I'm gonna go in to just the white. I'm gonna take my brush and go back and forth on my palette, and on the outside edge, I'm gonna add just a hint of white around that outside edge, just to make it kind of pop a little. See what I did there? Really needed to add a little more red too, but we'll see how it works. Get it off. Do the white again, just go into the white, go back and forth, and right on that outside edge, we'll add that tiny bit of white on his sleeve. So you see what I did there? We're also gonna do it on his hat. So I'm gonna turn this upside down just for a second. I'm gonna add a little more red just up here where I know this is where I'm going to highlight. I'm going to use this red, come around a little. And while it's still wet, I'm going to grab up that white on my brush. You can see how much. I'm going to go back and forth. And right on that edge of that white, or that red that's wet, we're gonna bring in, oops, it's drying really fast. We're gonna bring in this white right on that edge. All right, we're gonna do one more thing. So that gives this side a little bit of a highlight. Hey, Sheila. And on the part where his hat meets his brim, we did gray on the inside of that, but I'm gonna take a little bit of black, not much, just the very smallest amount. And I'm gonna come, oops, it's a little much, right around the top of his hat on the red side. And just add a tiny bit of black. All right, now that looks dimensional to me. Looks much better. So let's rinse that off, and now we're gonna talk pinks, because we're gonna do the heart in a couple of colors. I'm gonna add more red. This is cherry red. And y'all know my favorite pink color is dragon fruits. That's right, Irene, they are. Uh-oh, this is a new bottle, so let's get the plastic off. Maybe not. There we go. Love the dragon fruit, excuse me. A little bit of that pink, and then we have fuchsia, also a new bottle. Thank you, guys. He is cute, isn't he? Well, 3 different colors of pink. And I'm gonna throw in a little bit more white to our white pile, because these are our beads. It does match the sticky note. These are the beads we're gonna be using. Okay, so let's want something a little bigger than this, but not massive. Let me see what I have. What do we have? Let's use this one. It's a little bit bigger. And I think I'm gonna start with the lighter of the pink. I think I'm gonna start with the middle color, which is the, I don't know what color this was. I'm gonna say this is the dragon fruit. These colors are very similar, these 2 pinks, so they're kind of interchangeable. The dragon fruit and the fuchsia. So I'm trying to find a place to hold on. And again, it's just sucking up the paint. Right in that corner. I'm gonna grab a little bit of red. We'll go darker at the top. Red. Pink. More red. I'm going to just kind of go around his hands with that red and kind of blend it out into the pink. I hold my breath when I do that. I grab a little bit of white. That white had some gray in it. All right, let's do this side of the heart. I'm going to start with that red again. You're welcome. It's just, practice makes perfect. So if If you struggle with highlighting, just get yourself like a watercolor pad or a paint pad, piece of wood, something, and like just practice over and over and over. It's really easy once you kind of get the hang of it and know how to do it and what to expect from your brush. So we're going to get that red right up in his hand area. Ugh. It's tight in there. With that red around his hand. And now I'm going to grab some of the pink. Blend that in. Turn it this way. And I'm going to grab, my brush is really dirty with a variety of colors. It's got a couple of pinks and red in it. So I'm just going to grab a little white with my dirty brush. And then we'll work that in to the other color. We'll grab a little bit of that pink, make it flow better. So it kind of just blends seamlessly. That's pretty cute. I think I'm going to do a little red. A little pink. And then back to the white, and then we'll be done. So cute. Let's just grab a little bit of that white, blend it in. And this is not the best brush in the world for blending, but I'm just going to use my finger. And look at that. Blends perfectly. All right, check it out. So cute. Doesn't really matter for the most part what this looks like. I just wanted it to have a variety of colors because of the color in our beads. So a couple pinks, a red, some whites, and we got a happy little heart. So now let's grab our heat gun and let's dry this up really good so we can resin. Isn't it gorgeous? I love it too. It has some good dimension to it. And the resin is going to really make it pop. We're going to do, if you just got here, we're going to kind of do something backwards. Normally I would glue down things like beads and then add resin over the top. But today, we're throwing caution to the wind. Okay, before I do that, here's what I was thinking about doing, is taking some white on my plate and then like doing a couple of hearts or pieces of hearts on his hat. Let's give it a try. And if it is a bomb, then we'll just fix it. What do you think? Think we should do it? Let's put some white on the plate and see what happens. All right, we'll put the white on. We'll grab a brush. We'll spread that paint out just a little bit because I want my cookie cutter to fit in there. So let's try it. Let's try it and see what happens. I wish I had something to sample it on. Let me find, oh, we'll do this. This is the back of the sticky note. So we'll take our heart, we'll dip it in the paint, and boom. Oh, pretty cute. So let's try it. Let's try that out. Okay, so let's just dip around And I'm gonna come like right here and really gently just touch and then pull up. Did not work out perfectly, so let's try it again. In another spot, we're just gonna leave that one like it is. Just kind of wiggle it around and hopefully we'll get a full heart somewhere. Let's try right here. Voila! Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Thank you, Tiana. It would be, I didn't have, this is the smallest one that I had. So we're just going with the flow. So if you have a smaller heart, I would suggest that. But we're gonna just use what we have here in Art Shattered Land. So stinking cute. Now while we're at it, I'm just gonna wipe that off. And I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna pull all this white back together. And I'm gonna go in and just add a few, I need a dotting tool instead of my paintbrush. I'll add a few dots here and there, just for giggles. We gotta dry this again. Right on the edge. There we go. All right. We're not gonna worry with the one that's half done. He's still cute, no matter what. And let's draw that up and then we'll move on with it. Let's move that. We gotta get these dots dry. Right? Well, these came from Home Goods and I think I bought them last year or the year before, but you could probably find a heart-shaped, yes, a Q-tip would be perfect. Heart-shaped cookie cutter anywhere right now. All things Valentine's are in all the stores. I know, Kayanne, I couldn't help myself. Could not help myself. I think that's good and dry. So let's go ahead and mix up our resin. Now I'm only gonna mix, oh gosh. I'm gonna mix, I think an ounce is too much. I think an ounce is gonna be too much because we're literally just spreading this on and then applying the beads. So I think what I'm gonna do, let me look at my little cup. That's CC's. I think I'm gonna mix a half an ounce. Hopefully that'll be enough. May mix a smidge more than that. Thank you, Susan, that's a good compliment. And let's see, a 1/4 ounce is right there. So I think I'll go above that one. And I'll tell you guys how much I used. And a 1/4 ounce. These cups are terrible. They don't show the embossing on the lines as well as they should. Okay, so we have our cups marked barely with a 1/4 ounce for each cup. And let's get our gloves on. Isn't his hat cute? See, I told you we were gonna make sure he didn't look like Santa. Sherry, if you sprinkle to your friends, you could have a chance to be gifted this cute little gnome. Okay, so let's do a 1/4. I'm using art resin just like normal. Yeah, these ones are terrible, Rima. So we're gonna use a 1/4 ounce of hardener. Slowly. I don't know if I ordered them from the same company, but they are not good. All right, let's stop. That's our hardener. And now the resin. Somebody tell Kristen what it means to sprinkle. Yeah, so what we're doing is if you let your friends know that we're here and sprinkle on your page the link to this to show them what they're missing out on, come back here and let us know that you sprinkled. Your name goes in a hat to be gifted what we're making. Okay, so we have, let me grab my little stir stick. Look at my cute little art shattered sign too while you are sitting there in that cute. That's funny, Devin. All right, so I'm gonna just dump my hardener into my resin or vice versa. I don't know which way it was, doesn't really matter. So we end up with a 1/2 ounce total. So we have a 1/4 ounce of each part. And we'll set that aside. And we're gonna stir this for 3 minutes, okay? So we're gonna stir for 3 minutes. Catherine, are you here? Is somebody here to time? I'm gonna stir this for 3 minutes, scraping the sides of my cup and scraping the bottom so it's all mixed really nicely, okay? So I have a confession. So when I was sick over the last couple weeks, we made a box, we made some brownies. It was actually called chocolate cobbler, but it was totally brownies. And it's a powder mix that you add wet items to. And remember how I'm always talking about how to mix, you know, to make sure you're really scraping the sides and the bottom, because it's like putting wet in a dry cake mix. It's like eggs and milk or something, oil in a dry cake mix. If you don't completely get that mixed up, you always start to dump, and you always start to dump into your pan, and there's a dry clump there's a dry clump of mix. So that's what we want to avoid. Anytime you mix resin together, whether it's a 1/2 ounce or 5 ounces or 10 ounces, you need to mix for 3 minutes, okay? 3 minutes, the canvas size doesn't matter. It's how long it takes for you to have a thorough blend, a thorough mix of your 2 parts. You don't want to have one part that's not mixed into the other, okay? So, thank you all for the sprinkles. So we're just gonna stir and stir and stir for the 3 minutes. Isn't this cute? I love this. So cute. Lee also cut that for me. So cute. This one is cute too. You can't see it, but it came from Tamra. Yes, you have to mix for 3 minutes, and you have to make sure you're scraping the sides and scraping the bottom, because if you don't, you could have a blob, even the smallest blob of unmixed resin can wreak havoc on your art piece. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you, Charlotte. So stir, stir, stir. So cute. Are we 3 minutes in? Thank you, Wendy. Thank you, Devin. Yeah, I may do that. I have something to put on. Time's up. Thank you. I have something to put under the glass, so I don't know if I'll be able to put those under, but if I was going to leave it, because this is a door, it would fit right under there, wouldn't it? That would fit really nicely. Okay, so let's scrape that off, and I'm going to turn to my handy dandy. Hang on. Lord have mercy. Forgot to plug in, so of course, if it got quiet, that's why. Let me plug in, low battery. All right. So now here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna elevate this thing real quick because I'm resin dripping over. So I'm just gonna put 2 little thingies. Isn't it cute, Gnome? That's okay. You can come back when we're done and watch the replay, okay? You didn't really miss anything. You can watch it when we're done. So I'm gonna take my little tool. I got a little dried resin on it. You can see if it dries on there, you can just peel it right off. See that? Just peel it off. I'm notorious for that. That's why I have this many. That's why I have this many. Okay, so where's my resin? Here it is. I'm just gonna dump most of it. That was oops, we got debris. We got debris. And I'm gonna use my hand. I think it'll just work better. I'm just gonna go ahead. I'm gonna pick this up and I'm gonna just spread this to the edges and watch how the color really starts to pop. So pretty. So just spread to the edge. All the way down to his feetsies. My glove wants to come off. These gloves are a little big. I need a little more resin. So I'm gonna dump a little more right here on the edge. I wanna try to save a little bit for the end. Hang on. You pick it up again and just pull that to the edge. I feel my sinuses starting to shut down again. So I'm gonna look at this in a couple of different angles. Just kind of twist it and turn, make sure everything has resin. And before I put my beads on, I'm gonna take this glove off. And I'm gonna pop my bubbles with my heat gun, okay? So hang on. Just hit it with your heat for 1 second. Pop any of those bubbles that you created when you're mixing. Done. Now, look what we have. It has a hole at the top, see the hole? And it came with a jute string. So I'm gonna just put that jute string back on and it will be gifted to someone tomorrow. Yes, so let's see, let me grab my sizzle. This is a brand new pack of beads, so it has that little tape on the edge. So I'm gonna untape that. Hang on, I gotta do this off camera so I don't spill everywhere. So I'm just using my scissor to cut that tape that goes around the edge. All right, now let's see if I can get it open. And I'm gonna pour these beads in a little, oh my goodness, these are so stinking cute. I'm gonna pour them in a little cup. Look, they're so delicious. I'm gonna set those in there and I'm just gonna start sprinkling on one side. And then if one gets out of line, we'll just use our beading tool to kind of get it back where it needs to be. I'm not terribly worried about that. Hang on, hang on. Stuck my hand right in the resin. So I'm just gonna sprinkle. And I don't want to cover the whole heart. I'm gonna get some more. I do want some of it to show. So I'm only gonna cover about 60 to 70% of the heart. So I'm gonna get a couple over here. We'll get a little more sporadic here. Maybe that's, let's see, maybe that's enough. All right, I'm gonna take, actually I'm gonna take this little silicone tool and I'm gonna just scoot and make sure that all the beads are where they're supposed to be. None of them are off having a party where they shouldn't be. I'll tamp them down into that resin a little bit too. And I can add a few more if I feel like I need to. Get in there. So you can kind of micromanage where they go. I'm liking this. This is so pretty. I'm going to pick it up so you can see. Yes, isn't it cute, Wendy? I love that heart. I actually still have mine. It is so cute. I still have one of them. I did two. I think I did a pink one and a red one. And I still have mine. I didn't even try to sell it because I just loved it. It was so cute. Okay, let me show you the color of these beads now. I think you'll be able to see them better now that they're kind of spread out. So let me put this close. Look. Now the beads are in the regular bead part. Okay, look at those colors. See, I got them doubled up. Let me squish that back around where it's supposed to be. There. All right, so now what I can do, it's cute. So pretty, those beads. Now what I can do, where my beads are, is take, I'm gonna grab some more gloves. I want to get a bunch of resin on my hands. I should have just pulled off my other ones a little more gently, but that's okay. I'm trying to put my pinky in the thumb hole. So don't forget to sprinkle, because if you sprinkle and your name is drawn, we will gift you this cute little Gnome. So I'm gonna take the rest of, I have just a smidge of this left, so I'm gonna just take some of that and just drizzle over the top of the beads. Just a little bit for insurance. Any extra resin. So ½ an ounce is more than enough for this cute little project. And this is a really cost-effective little project because the gnome was less than $2 at Hobby Lobby right now. They're 40% off of $2.99, I believe it was. And the beads are on sale too, and these beads are called Red Rainbow. They're the Bead Treasure glass seed beads in the jewelry department. They're called Red Rainbow. They have a little pink, a little red, and a little gold in them. They're half price too. And a whole container is $3.99, so that makes a whole pack of beads $2. And then ½ an ounce of resin. You cannot beat that with a stick. All right, so we used every bit of that. I'm just gonna scrape anything that's left off onto a little piece. And trying to be tidier on my new table. Hey, Stacy, is he not cute? Isn't he cute? So let me show you this close up. I'm gonna keep my gloves on. So we used that cute little cookie cutter for the little hearts on his hat. And then the seed beads for the heart itself. Is that not cute? Oh, people love gnomes, even if you're someone who likes to sell their arts. Whether you like them or not, people do, so don't dismiss them. Right, Irene? So stinking cute. I love his hat with the little heart shapes, even if that one's not full. And there's something in my heart, in my little head. We'll get that out. And we are done.